Hey everyone, my name is Trinity Boyd and I'm going to be doing my vocabulary lesson. Today's date is October 20th of 2019. My number of minutes for my lesson is 15. The grade that I'm going to do my vocabulary lesson on is 3rd grade. My teacher objective is CCSS ELA Literacy L 3.4b. So it's determining the meaning of the new word formed when an affix is added to a known word. For example, agreeable, disagreeable, comfortable, uncomfortable, care, careful, or preheat. As a review, I have that the teacher will assess the learners on their ability to read words with inflectional endings. The teacher will write several words on the board and have the students add inflectional endings to each word. Then the teacher will have them read the words and describe their new meanings. So the activities that I have for this, what you would use is a marker board and a pencil, but what I have is just a simple sheet of paper with 4 different words. I have the words walk, spill, jump, and love. And then the inflectional endings I'm going to add are ing and ed. So you would ask the kids, if I gave you the word walk, what would be the inflectional ending of walk if I had ing? So then the word would be walking. And the same thing for ed, it would be walked instead of just walk. It'd be walked instead of just the regular walk. And then for the word spill, it'd be spilling or spilled. And the behavioral objective for that was the learner will determine the meaning of the new word formed when a known affix is added to a known word. And the assessment is informal with an oral response. And then the class size is just the whole class activity. As an overview, the purpose of this lesson is to use prefixes, base words, and suffixes to determine word meanings. This will help you understand more words this will help the students understand more words when they're reading. In a continuity, what we did yesterday, we read words with inflectional endings. Today we will determine the meaning of new words formed when a prefix, base word, or suffix is added. And in the future, we'll determine the meaning of an unknown word by using the same root word. And then the objective is determining the meaning of a new word formed when a known affix is added to a known word. Now for my motivation for this, I have a little video. It's by the Bazillions. It's on prefixes and suffixes. It's about a 4-minute video, but I'm only going to show you a short clip of it. But real quick, my supplemental aids were the computer and YouTube. My assessments are informal and it's an observation. And then the group size is whole class. So that was just a short clip of prefixes and suffixes. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the procedures that we will do when we demonstrate this lesson. The objective is the learner will determine the meaning of the new words formed with 90% accuracy. So what I would start by asking the kids, what is the difference between appear and disappear? And appear means to come into sight, like you see something, while disappear means you leave one's sight. So if I say the magician made the rabbit appear, would that mean the same as the magician made the rabbit disappear? And for this little activity, I have a short PowerPoint that talks about defining prefixes and suffixes in the base words. And it has workable examples in there for the kids. And then the materials, you need the PowerPoint. And then it's informal, and it's observation, and then it's whole class. And then so the next thing so this little PowerPoint is on prefixes, suffixes, and base words. And you're just going to have to forgive me, I have to kind of click each one. So the base words are, a base word is a word that it's in its simplest form. A base word has nothing added to it. So examples are like do, heat, write, read, and pack. So we would write the basic. It gives you one of the practices for the kids is it would say, write the base word of played, so it'd be play. Of running, it would be run. And then like unhappy would be happy. The prefixes are added to the beginning of a base word. They change the meaning of the base word. So un plus happy equals unhappy. Re plus do equals redo. And then a prefix re means again. So reread means to read it again. And then it goes on to tell you, it gives you a couple of different things to do. Then it talks about adding the prefixes at the beginning of the word to make new words. So we would draw a line from one word to the other. Okay, so after watching a little bit of that PowerPoint, the next thing I'm going to introduce is a game I came up with called Base Word Challenges. So what you're going to do is you're going to give the students a sheet like this. It says, it says re, un, full, and ly. And it's divided into prefixes and suffixes. And then you're also going to give them a word bank. Looks like this. It's got a bunch of the different words on there. Now I've already cut some of mine up. So for example, if I have the word wonder, I would think, is it a prefix or is it a suffix? So then I would go, okay, wondery, no. Wonder un, no. So I know that it's a suffix because re and un don't make sense. So then I go wonderly, no. Wonderful. So what I would do is I would get get some glue, or in my case a piece of tape for the time being, and I would stick wonder under the full, under the category that says full. So then it would be, my suffix for wonder would be full. So I would make the word wonderful. And then you would just do that with a couple of different words, like I have the word red. So would redly make sense? No. Redful doesn't make sense. Unread, that works. But the word I would look for would be reread. So then I would tape it to under the word re for reread. So after demonstrating that word, you would do the couple of different words that were given, and with that, the only materials that you would really need are the word cards. It is informal, and then it's kind of an observation and a whole class activity. The next thing we would do is play this activity called Roll an Affix game. What it is that I've created a little chart, just a basic recording chart, and then I have gotten a die printout like this, and you would have the cubes already made for the kids, just because as I've learned as I was making this, it was kind of difficult to put all these cubes together, so it's best to have those prepared before the students get in. But you would get this dice, and you would pass out the cube with the prefixes and suffixes and a sheet to record their answers. So if they have, if I got a cube, I made the cube already. So for instance, if I throw it in the air and it lands on dis, okay, so if it lands on the word dis, I would put like distrust. So that's what I would put, distrust, in the recording chart. And if I did it again and it landed on full, well, then hey, one of the words I can use with full would be wonderful. So I would record wonderful in my chart, like so. And then this game, until they need to come up with at least 6 words as they play this game, just so they can kind of practice on the prefixes and suffixes. As a closing activity, what I would do is I would give the students a half sheet of notebook paper, and I would ask them to write the prefixes, or what prefix should I add to run to make it mean run again. And then what suffix should I add to help to mean without help. So what you would need for the closure activity would be a notebook, paper, and pencil. It's informal, and then it's an oral response, and it's an individual activity. For homework, what I would do is I would give them the prefix and suffixes sheet, which is this right here. Prefixes and suffixes sheet, and it's where they basically circle the answer for the best question. So if it says a suffix is the word part attached to, would it be A, the beginning of the word, B, the middle of the base word, or C, the end of the base word? So if a suffix would go at the end, so that's when they would circle C at the end of the word. And then what is the meaning of the word pre-game? Would that be after the game, before the game, or without the game? And that would be before, so they would circle B. As for early finishers, I have a page right here, or it's called Choosing the Word with the Correct Prefix to Match the Definition. It's about 3 pages. I did it front and back. So the first one says to have opposite opinions about something. Would that be to disagree or re-agree? And so it would be obviously disagree, because if you don't agree with somebody, you're disagreeing. Okay, and then it says, number 2 says to tell something again. So it could be, your choices are untell or retell, and then the students would go through and bubble in. It only gives them 2 choices, so it's 50-50 chance that they would get it. But that would be something that they can work on independently and by themselves. And then the last thing, for the special needs students, what I would do is the students with the reading disabilities will have a paraprofessional or teacher with the model of the base word challenge. The paraprofessional or teacher will orally say the base words, and the paraprofessional will give the students a choice as to whether it's a prefix or a suffix. And it limits their choices, makes it easier for them to understand. If the student is an English language learner, the teacher will model what to do in the base word challenge, and then they will get on the sheet, the teacher will orally say the base word on the sheet, and the student will repeat the word in their own language. So for example, if the word says lock, the ELL student, if their native language is Spanish, they would say Seradura. And so they would go, once they have determined the prefix or suffix of Seradura, they would, participate that as a whole class activity, because you would encourage the students to help the English language learner fit in by saying their language, like the English language, and then the Spanish-speaking child's language. For remediation, depending on the number of students that you have, they can come to the teacher's desk for a small session, or if it's more than 4 that need remediation, during recess they can come into the classroom and go over the base word challenge activity again. The teacher can use more different words that besides the ones that we had in the activity, and then the remediation time will help the students focus on the prefixes and suffixes using more modeling from the teacher. And then for enrichment, for the student who is proficient in reading and determining the prefixes and suffixes, the learner will write a story that includes 4 examples of a prefix and suffix in their stories. So they're going to write a little story. It must include at least 6 sentences. I think that 3rd graders are definitely able to write more than 6 sentences, so I made 6 sentences a minimum. But just including 4 examples of each prefix and suffix. And what the materials they'll need for that is the notebook, paper, and pencil. It's informal, and it's a written response, and it's an individual activity. And then as far as reflective comments go, I think I've came a long way when doing this, and that as I get to modeling more examples and things like that, I'm confident that I will get better. Hopefully slowing down and helping the students understand the activities more. It's a big problem for me. I do talk really fast. So I hope that y'all have enjoyed my lesson on vocabulary for 3rd grade. Thank you.